Look, from the very outset, my colleagues and I in the Rural Independent Group made ourselves available to in talks with all parties to try and form a government. Sadly, we met with Fianna Fáil, indeed Fine Gael and Sinn Féin, but there was no follow-up. I said at the outset that the electorate's wish was for change. As I said that today, which should be respected. But the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael refused to engage with Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin also failed to come back with any other alternative, despite promises of further meetings with our group. I consulted widely my constituents in recent days about this government, and there were other opportunities. There were other areas that a national government could have been formed, and we had the perfect scenario for it with the COVID and the cooperation that was there. The focus on urban centre and the uneven focus on agricultural development is crazy in this document. I mean, the amount of ministers that we have now in Dublin and in Cork, and out as far as Gracetowns, I think I counted 10. What about the rest of Ireland? Deputy Tobin mentioned from Donegal to Clare. Well, he can continue right down to Limerick, and then 24 to Tipperary, and indeed down to Waterford, County Portlaoise again, the south east. Abandoned the south east. Oh, the east, yes, it's all about Dublin and nothing about the country. So, Deputy Martin, I'm very disappointed with that. So, rural Ireland doesn't need development because it's the right thing to do. But it's the fact that you can manage in Dublin now, and you want to give us crumbs and put some little things out to us because you want everything in Dublin. As I said, rural affairs mixed up now with social protection. I think that's a crazy scenario. That will tell you how they think about rural Ireland. Put it in with social protection and the busy job there that's going on. Disabilities is worse with children. I want to remind you, Minister Mattie, you're Minister for Children, I think Minister for Health, that disabilities aren't confined to children. Unfortunately, they go from the cradle to the grave with people and disabilities. That's a shocking indictment on your judgment. We also have seen in recent months, the COVID-19, the huge advantages of living in rural Ireland. So you drive through it every day to Dublin, Mr. Taoiseach Martin. Maybe you didn't see it in the last 12 weeks. We experienced a wonderful rejuvenation by our people, not by government. All we need is a fair share of government supports, and I feel that this programme for government will not deliver for rural Ireland. It will proposals, and as Deputy Tobin said, 102 kind of inactions, talking shops, fudges in other words. Minister, I also worry about some things that are in the programme for government. Incidentally, I don't think they were in the document I went to Fianna Fáil. And you said today, Taoiseach, that you were delighted to be Prime Minister of a free nation. And you're going to have an exclusion zone around places where abortions are carried out. Where's the freedom there? Or the freedom to protest and free speech? And you're also going to deal with legislation for hate crime. Who's going to decide what's hate crime? What elite group? And where's the free Ireland in? We're not free since the banks, we went kowtow to Europe and the banks, and they're our masters, the banks and our European masters, and indeed further afield. This happened when Fianna Fáil joined up with Aldi in Europe. And he sold your soul and sold everything else with it. And we have the result of it here today. During the negotiations for the programme of government, we spent 6 weeks the last time engaging. This time, we got no consultation. Fine, you didn't need us, but you may need us yet. Minister, as I said also, the whole situation regarding farming. And I wish all the ministers well in their roles, but I'm concerned about agriculture. I'm concerned about, I think there's a ministry there with rural, it has culture, arts, media, tourism, sport and the Gaeltacht. And I'm sure whatever you're having yourself in the pub's open on Monday. My God, such a portfolio. And who has it? A deputy on party class, at the Green Party. And greyhound racing is inside in that, coursing is inside in that, and indeed horse racing. Huge industries that are important to my county. And we have expressed wishes from Deputy Martin and others in the past about wanting the demise of these sports. They are sports, but they're an industry in rural Ireland of the people, by the people. And I say hands off, because the people won't tolerate this. We've lost enough. So, Taoiseach and ministers, I wish you well in your roles, but I'm very concerned about the programme for government. Not a costing for any action.
Thanks, Deputy.
Kick it down the road, and not a costing for any action. And we're going to live horse to get grass. So listen, the people aren't idiots out there, and they're very smart, intelligent, elected thankfully. So a free country, how are you, Taoiseach Martin, when you're going to begin this legislation for hate speech for an elite group and the right for people to peacefully protest to save lives?
Deputy Richard O'Donoghue. Thanks, Deputy.